So, after this epic intro, welcome to my latest episode of Adventures at Your Doorstep. To be correct, today I'm more like at my back door, and as you could see, I used the good weather, took the bicycle for a small ride, and that's the time frame I like to show a little bit of today, when we started growing up, being like 13-14 years old, having our first serious bikes where you can take little longer trips, like an hour and a half, one way, two ways. And just right behind my house you can already meet the roads for the fields, like the one I showed you, and like a 2-minute trip I'm already at the crossroads between the 3 villages, the one I'm living in, and there's one to the right, one to the left. We even have here at the bike roads, we have the pointers, which way to go, what the distance is, and to give you a short look of what you may have seen before, that's again part of the Blackwood Forest, the northern part, which I showed in my first video. It's mostly, never mind where you are, you can see it from here, and that's the way where we are today. We're not going to Blittersdorf first, we're going the other way behind me. That's Wintersdorf. Something about both of those villages is that at both villages you can cross the Rhine River. In Wintersdorf, where we're going first, we have a bridge with a lot of history, and in Blittersdorf we even have a little ferry, which last time I checked is even free to cross for bicycles, but it also can pick up some cars. Not sure if we can make it there today or a day at the weekend. I just wanted to use the nice weather. It's 22 degrees now in the evening, really no wind, no nothing, enjoyable. Wearing some shorts, t-shirt outside for the first time this year. And yeah, these are the back roads we used to drive with our bicycles. And directly the next point, 5 minutes from the house, the other way around from the city, you find in our region a lot of these roads. And again you have a lot more arrows where to go. Even Karlsruhe is already on there. Wintersdorf, Hagenau, that's France. And where I'm on right now, that's a dam, and it's supposed to protect the inland, the backland, from high water from the Rhine River. And in our region, between the Rhine River and this dam, we also have, it's called the Old Rhine. We'll see where's the next point where we can see him. And I tried to explain a little bit better why it's a Rhine and an Old Rhine. And some of the reasons are for when they put the Rhine in its boundaries, because like I said in the episode before, in the winter times or in the hard raining times, the water was rising, the level of the river was rising and going over its boundaries. And most of the first settlements, villages, small villages and stuff like this, of course they built their houses pretty close to the water, but then when the high water came, really often everything was gone. So sooner or later they needed to come up with an idea how to protect first these villages, and secondly, it's also a problem if you, for example, want to build some bridges and not cross the rivers all the time with ferries, which mostly also cannot operate during high water because they cannot reach the shore then for safe, and the speed of the stream is so much stronger that they would have problems to operate safe. So sooner or later you want to build bridges, but if the river is changing the way it goes all the time, maybe one day you can cross him by the bridge and the next day you come and there's no more water under the bridge, but maybe in front or behind the bridge. So they had to find a solution, and a guy who came up with a plan how to build this, his name was Tula. This one I was looking for, you see. His name was Tula, and what he did, he came up with a plan how to, you can already see it here, that's the actual way the Rhine is taken. And he came up with an idea how to build the sides and the depth, so no matter how high the water would rise, it would not make it change. And what you can see here, these yellow regions, these are the regions where the first settlements have been, and all these water marks are ways which the Rhine River would have taken or could have taken in such days. And as you can see, those villages, they're going back into the years 1583. That's the estimated position where this village would have been. It's gone, it's sunk and never found again. And 1500, you see, even the Rhine River came until here, and this village also was gone. So they came up with a plan, and unfortunately I don't have the year here, but after all that, and as you can see now, my village, and then one to the left, one to the right. That's the one with the bridge where we're going now, and that's the other one with the ferry. And this part here, and some of these, that's called Old Rhine. That's where they left it to go its old ways, to have some sort of preservation zone where the birds and whatever can stay and have their refugium to be. And even so, you have a long distance until the settlements, the villages, where the water, if it will go over where it first goes, makes no damage. Then you have this dam, which is probably 3.5–4 meters high, where the water can stand, and after that it will go in direction of the villages. So let's take the road down there, make our way to the bridge, and take a look at the bridge. Well, one more stop before the bridge. One thing I forgot to mention: another board, another explaining board over there, and you can see the marks up there, and all these things are part of what it's called Pamina Rhine Park. So it's a park with all topics belonging to Rhine River. It's on both sides of the Rhine, so you can ride it and then see on maps on the German side as well on the French side. One day we will go to the French side, because there's one big difference, but not today. But this is a part of what it's called the Old Rhine, right? And as you can see, nowadays it's pretty much looking like a standing water. Pretty sure there is movement, but what it looks like is like a standing water if you compare it to what we later will see from the Rhine River. And what you can see from earlier times, that's one of the classical fisher boat barges or whatever, and it would have been called what they would have used here on the river, right? You can see the anchor in the front, and if I'm not completely wrong, these wooden blocks. You can see on the side there would have been nets and with some weights on the bottom, and they sink it in the sea, and while the ship is going, they let the net sink in the water, pick up the fish, and after a certain time they bring it back up, they close the net, and then they bring in whatever they have catched. So another thing you can see here, the birds, ducks, and a swan. He already came from there to here. Probably plenty of people stopping by here, giving them bread or whatsoever. It's a topic I learned from somebody else. I'm not even sure if it was somebody from a zoo or something, but you shouldn't give them bread, because where in the wildlife would they get bread, right? Never seen in Swan Bakery, where they go in the morning, pick up the bread for the lunch or for dinner. So maybe do them something good, don't give them bread, right? Especially here in the free, you can see how many grasses are there, how many, I don't know, whatever small animals they can pick from the water. And I'm pretty sure they will not starve. So that's a part of the preserved old Rhine. That's also a part of a fisher boat. That's the one they would have steered with a long wooden stick. And they went out, and then in the regions where the water is not too deep, they push the stick in the ground and push themselves forward. And the ducks and the swan are playing catch, so they still have some energy left from the day. So what I'm about to show, of course there's this gravel road down here, but also I guess nearly 90% from this Pamina roads, they're going on these dumb roads, right? And what I found out, most of the times on the German side, it's all gravel, it's all like this. Probably more ecological. I hope I pronounced that right. And on the French side, there's concrete. Maybe they're driving there with more cars because a lot of it is much wider and stuff. I'll show it in a later video. So, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about this stuff, go out, go on the dam, search for the explantation boards, and teach yourself a little bit. It's interesting. Okay, let's move on to the bridge. So, here we are. That's the bridge, like 5 kilometers from my house. This side is Germany, this side is France. As you can see, it's how to say, maybe two halves of a bridge, two different styles of a bridge. In former times, this bridge would have carried trains, right? In the middle of the bridge there are train tracks, one going this way, the other one would be the one coming back. And like, if some people may know from the old days, there had been times when French and German went way too friendly with each other, and there had been some conflicts, and there had been some wars. And for this particular bridge, before World War II, there was this short period, I'm not sure how it's called in English, is it the sitting war or something like this, where armies were prepared on both sides of the river or the borders, waiting for what will happen next. Everybody was pretty sure there will be a war coming, nobody knows when. And what I for surely know for this bridge, and I'm pretty sure because all the way up the Rhine River there are more and more bridges, so I guess it would happen on more bridges. The Germans put explosives there, right? And Then when the bad times came and the war started, they blew up the bridge. So that's why we have a new part and we have an old part. Why? I'm not 100% sure if the style of this part is the original part, but I would assume. I'm not 100% sure, but I would assume, because otherwise why would you put it back? And going back the way before, the time before the European Union, you would have small houses over there, and I don't remember if there was a house on there. I know there was one way more down on the next crossing, but here I'm not sure. I remember the times when the French gendarmerie was standing over there with cars and the policemen standing on the streets, and they used to stop the German cars, look into it, going in, coming out, and asking what they're about, and the same would happen here, right? So there was boundaries, and so they checked, right? Traveling people as well as any sort of commercial transports, if it's truck or whatsoever, right? So, but like I said, for little boys, it's a nice playground. Even though, one more story I need to tell, or maybe I can show it a little bit from here. What I explained to you about what they did to the Rhine River. Of course, at the bridges, that's stable, but also here, a lot what you can see is these stone sides, right? And on the other sides as well. And what you with high water cannot see, but it's visible with low water. So the water is way more back. You not only have those stones, but also in certain distances you have rows of stones going inwards, right? So the water stream is not going on top only, but it's also going on the bottom. And one way to keep it more in there and keep away the speed from the sides to pick up the dirt and the stones is you keep the high stream in the middle, right? So they put boundaries from stones there, and that's how they keep it in the middle. And then from time to time boats come, they measure the depth, because as you can see there, that's one ship coming upstream, and of course they like to take as much load as they can. And well, then it depends if the river is deep enough so they can go all the way up, right? And one more point, we will visit, excuse me, later on, and I guess that's also part of taking out the speed of the stream, is this river crossing. I need to check the English word, but it's more or less transport for the ships, right? So we have a sea level or water level on our side, and behind this building you have a level that's higher up, and that's certain steps coming way from there. That's where the river comes from the mountains, and this is the way where it goes to the sea. And certain distances in between you have these buildings, and making the river a step deeper, but also taking out some of the speed. And I heard of it, I'm not sure the result or where is it going, but nowadays they're even regretting it a little bit. They didn't let it go completely like it would, but I need to make some more research to find out what that was about. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And one more story my grandma told me, because back in the days, she was born 1933, so those small lakes, which the one I've been on at the last video, they haven't been there yet to those times. So in the hot summer times they don't go to these small lakes, and sometimes they also cannot go to the local swimming pools because they cost money. So they went to the rivers. And even so, nowadays nobody would let swim his child there because of the streams, and there are streams you cannot even see. You can see, oops, sorry, you can see some on top, but you really cannot see what's going on under the water. And it's really dangerous to swim there. But well, that was a different generation, and when it was really hot in the summer, they went in. Never mind. And there's the other side. Oh well, I got it a little bit wrong. So this is the elevator for the ships. From this side they're going up, one on the right, one on the left side. And in fact, the one I was showing you there, that's the power generators, right? So the stream coming from all the way there towards me, and through the height difference they have pipes there. They have generators at the bottom. They let the full stream go through, speed up those propellers and generate some power. Yeah, that's it. Okie doke. Well, another really interesting information board I can show you here. It's really nice. That's the part where we stopped before on the other side. You can see here's the fishing boat, right? That's in between there. Here's the bridge where we've been before, and I just drove a bit up here. And that's the part in between, what you can see. The old Rhine, how, like I explained, and with all the green area. And what you can read here, it's called Bannwald, Bannwasser. That means there's no work going on in there. There's no, well, how should I say, influencing the way of the water, maybe like this. It should be left completely natural. Let it work as it would work. And I guess guys from the university or from wherever, they go in there and they study that stuff. Look what's going on with all the grasses, with the animals. As you can see, we even have bats in there, certain fish, certain birds, certain ways of grass, what is growing there. So those are really interesting areas where they're doing a lot of stuff to learn from the environment, what we didn't do for a long time. And I guess this will do a lot more good than whatsoever other things, like maybe sending spaceships to the moon or whatsoever. But that's just my opinion. If you can get a ticket up there, take it, enjoy the ride. So the road I'm taking now, it's really only for bikes and people walking on by. But it's directly at the water, right? We have a small breeze here now, so it's a little bit more cooler. What is really nice during the summer, and even then in the summer when it's hotter and the water will be lower standing. You can even go down a little bit. I'm not sure, there are some places where they have sort of steps leading down to the water. So you can put at least your feet in, relax a bit, take a sit, enjoy the day, watch the ships rolling by, nearly like at the sea, nearly. So we're on the way now. Next stop will be the second village I'd like to show, and the ferry boat going from there. So let's see what we find on the way going there. Well, a nice part to show right before we reach the ferry. It's like what we saw on the board and what I explained. That's the main stream going up there, and that's the side arm coming from there. But as you can see, the regular water is pushing in because the stream here is so slow and not making any really visible movement. It's more like the regular stream is pushing a little water in there. You see, hitting the boundary there at the at the stones and pushing a little whirl and coming back, right? And it's a sidearm, the one we saw on the map, which is big. And another part is the bridge is right there. I came the furthest way out, and unfortunately it's a dead end. I need to drive back a bit. The ships would have been warned, you see, even like in the roads, don't pass, only one-way traffic. So let's go the other way around. Well, took another little extra tour into the woods. Thought I would come around there, but it's not a dead end, and I'll stay here only for a second because mosquitoes without end. But what I can see here, and what these guys are using, as you can see, that's some sort of feeder. Not sure how it works, but it's protected up there so they can reach it. I don't know if it drops constantly some food on the ground or whatsoever, but as you can see, a lot of wild animals crossing here. You can see because it rained a lot, it was wet ground, so they stomped around here a lot. Oh, what else you can see? There's a way going into the green there. There's one there. There's a slight one going here. And there's one more over there. And I guess what they're doing here is just seeing what animals in what number and what size are crossing here. Because what you can see there is a camera, which is how you say that it reacts with movement. I'm not sure if they're making only pictures or short movies or whatsoever, but as soon in a certain distance an animal is crossing this camera, it will make a picture or a movie. So they try to get them here with some food. If this is good or not, I don't know, but at least that's how they get an oversight about the animals living here. I'm not sure if it's deer, because these little brown mountains looks like number 2 of any sort of deer. Or is it wild hogs? Because of the ground, what it looks like, I'm not sure. But as you can see, going by bike, you can go a lot of ways, find interesting stuff. That's a hunter place, so you can overlook, you see, different directions from these areas. And this is in the middle of this left growing like wild area, right? So I really only used the way those people use. I stay on it. That's why I don't get closer to this. Also, I don't want to be on the camera. I don't know. I just stay with this way and move back the way I came. Try to find the regular way again. But really interesting find in the backwoods, right? Maybe they had a similar place like it here before, or these are the places which nature creates by itself. It's what I read before. If you have natural woods, they live until when they die, they fell over, they lay around like this, they rotten, and I think where they rotten, not exactly something new will grow. So you have different areas, right? You have areas where the woods are standing really close by each other, and then you have areas like this, no trees at all, and they're all mixed like this. And if you have like human-made woods, right? Like we would do it row by row by row by row by row, it's all even, and that's not the natural habitat for the most animals, for how the sun should work in such an environment, to give different species, different grasses, different whatsoever, different environments, right? You would have a human-made wood which is completely equal, and here you look and you turn, in every part it's a little bit different. You have a lot of young woods here, which is with a small stem, then a bigger stem, another young one, older ones. You can see how much they've grown already, but even not so large grown, but you can see from the outside probably also have seen some years come and go. Not so interesting when you're young, but if you're growing older and you have a better eye for your environment, you take a closer look around, well, that's really interesting. And some sort of adventure anyway. So, get back on the track and let's see if we can make it to the ferry some way or another. So, made it to the other side. Last stop was there. Now on the other side. One more time, as you can see, stream going up there, pushing the water back up in here, making it turn the old Rhine there. And one more thing I discovered when I was driving the road coming here. I had to go all the way back to the bridge to find this one, but like I told in the former episode, nearly everywhere you go around here, in the woods, near the water, or in the forests outside of the villages, everywhere where you find little mountains where normally is only flat land and there's a lot of dirt over there, you see some trees growing out of it, but only one thing sure, you're standing in front of a bunker. Sorry again for the brakes. As you can see there, one last part of concrete looking out of it. The rest luckily covered in dirt, trees growing there, hopefully animals living inside there. But another sure sign, which we didn't see in the last part of the forest, but you can see it here. Those signs had been there all the time, just saying danger, accident can happen here, and it's not allowed to walk in, climb about, or play there. So for sure, 20-30 years ago, when I was little, you would have seen a lot of concrete broken, just 1 or 3 holes looking out. Of course, this way. That's the Rhine River, the other side is France. These bunkers everywhere. But at least, like I said today, not really visible anymore, except you can see little mountains standing there. Oh, you see already one tree grown and gone, so a whole tree circle closed. But what we're here for are the ways along the Rhine. Alright, seen some more water. Now we're on the other side. As we can see, probably it's helped, or whatever you would call it, by human hand. They brought out some dead wood. This is not looking like good trees or something. It's pretty much looking like dead wood and dirt. But still, if you take a look inside, you can see clear rows. You can see, just simply human-made patterns right in there, right? Something many people say, which are walking around outside in the nature, in whatever structures. But as soon as you see straight lines, it's immediately sure they are man-made. So that's it. Right, so let's take the road down here, and pretty sure the next stop then really is at the ferry, I hope. Of course, one last stop before the ferry. That's in between the bridge and the ferry. You see the boat here. This is called Wasserschifffahrtsamt, and those are the guys who are in charge of the waterways from the Rhine River, starting from Iffezheim, going all the way up to Karlsruhe. There's one station there as well, and yeah, what they do is pretty much like I told you. They have all these what's the English name? All these tons, right? They're showing you the driving ways. So Within the green you're good. Outside the red you are not allowed to go. And port side, starboard side, alright? And so they have the duty like the guys on the highways, taking care there that out there is their highway, and that's the boat, how they keep everything intact. Wasserschifffahrtsamt. So this is pretty much it. Alright, over there is France, over here is Germany. You can see these pontons giving the marks for the ferry. Over there it's where it stops, and then they have a little bridgeway until you reach the shore. And the same on the German side. You have these pontons there, and from the yellow there's a little bit more bridgeway going back on the shore. Show you up close in a second. And so what we got here is this little building in front of the ferry. Well, here it is. And the interesting part of it, the records of the high water marks they put here, right? There's 183, I've seen that. 55 not, 94 seen that, 90 seen that, 99 seen that, 1824 surely didn't see that. But as you can see, that's like what, 1.50 meters, and the water down there is another 3 meters, so 5 meters above normal, and filling up all this way. I can guarantee you that's a whole lot of water. And all this is underwater then. We had times when you could not use the road I'm about to show you. Well, what I didn't know, the ferry is out of order until the 3rd of June. Today is the 5th of May, or May the 4th. I even forgot. But that's the way you would take by car. And then going way back in here. On the side is the way for pedestrians and for the bicycles. And then that's a little bridge part you would have to cross. And then at the end of it there would be the ferry you would hop on. And the specialty of this ferry would be, it does have a motor, but going over there it would not use a motor. As you can see, there are lines there where these, or let me see, these balloons are at, right? These are the guiding lines, and then there would be a thick steel rope going down to the ferry, and it would let it push over just by the steam. As you can see and hear, the stream, not steam, stream is pretty strong here, going really fast. And so you just have the ferry like this, and then you angle it and it would push the ferry, or you angle it like this and it push it like this, right? That's what would happen. And then another part I unfortunately cannot show you there. There would have been another pontons right there, similar to those, just bigger, and without the entrance way for cars, but for pedestrians. And in the summer times, during the school holidays, there would be a library on boat. It has been there only for a couple of years, but that was also great. Could go there, spend the day there, right by the water side, have some books, meet some other kids. It's nice if you have stuff for the summer month, right? What to do. And like I said, right at the water, if the weather would be like 32 degrees or something, here it would never feel that much hotter than not at the water, right? So that's the way coming here, and that's pretty much the round trip. Going back there. Later on there will be some parking grounds again. They're renewing that, You can see they're putting new concretes there, planting some more trees and some other stuff. And then this way we still have the old sign, because when you came over you have been in France, and back here you entered Germany, and then you're back. So one more thing I'd like to show. We came right from down there, the ferry and everything, and as you can see it makes a little ditch, and the same here, because the way down there there's another bridge, and the level here in between is pretty much nearly the same like the watermark. So if you have the high water, like 1.50 m or something, all this area would be flooded, right? Completely underwater. And another reason that would have been, I've showed you the water there, and the old Rhine was coming out of in between there, but another arm is lying just right behind this tree line. It's the bridge we're about to cross. I can show you one more arm, an even bigger one like the one we've been before. And one more thing special for this village and the other one with the bridge. They're football places. They're out of the village, and one is right here in there. So in the times of the high water, all this area would have been underwater. As you can see here, it's already the side arm from the old Rhine, right? Would be also 1.5 meters high, because as you saw, the regular Rhine pushing into it. So this level would have risen as well as the one from the big Rhine, and the soccer field right there would be maybe water polo. What's the name? Water ball. Just water ball, where they're in swimming pool throwing with the balls, something like this. And then there comes the bridge. Over there also a lot of the area which has water already, right? Saying a lot of times right today, I just noticed, but I think a little bit better than So here comes the water again, the big part of the old Rhine. And then over there we are already back on the dam and coming back to the backside of my village, and made pretty much a round trip now with sightseeing, 1.5 hours maybe, going right in there. So as you can see, again, pretty still water, not much movement, completely different to the normal Rhine where the ships are and everything. And well, I need to check out if I can find somebody, if I know somebody who got canoes. As much as I know, there are certain places where you can reach down and put in a canoe, and I guess it would be pretty amazing to make a trip down there, right? Check this out and be in between the trees and everything. And summer swans having the natural dinner. As you can see, they are not feasting bread, they are taking their food from the water, little fish, little green stuff. And that's the big water we're talking about. It's all old Rhine, old river, many pathways where you can ride along pretty much with a canoe. If you're quiet, I'm pretty sure you can see a lot of animals in between there are small islands with mud and stuff. Pretty sure there are animals you will not see on the regular places here, but especially in there. Probably some beavers and some other animals, but really nice. And for the evening commute, like I said, this round trip took me now with stops, with sightseeing, with a lot of talking. Yeah, maybe a little bit more than 90 minutes. I have this small percentage of tar on the road, but then the natural ways, you can see even there, roadway for the bikes. It's coming back to the gravel. It's just the small dots where you can see there, where the people are coming. That's one more turn to the left, and then it's already the place where I started just less than 2 hours ago. Nice evening commute with a little 20 plus degrees. Back on the bike again. The body is thankful for a little work to do. Had a nice weather. Deserved the shower later on. Okay, one more info board when we're about it, and you can see if you're coming closer to them, you really can easily see them. You get closer, take a last look. You see, it's a little bit older. What's the info board about the grasses behind there? You can see what's growing there, or maybe it's just the dirt from the winter. As you can see there, also some water standing. It's also pretty much a natural habitat, right? What happens if you leave the nature be, let it do, and let it work. I really hope the noise of the gravel is not too loud. Because here it's pretty loud. I hope it gets lost a little bit over the microphone. Otherwise I need to put down the volume. Probably you won't even hear what I was talking. Some last impressions with some water. Really all in between the woods. So, to close out this video, like I did the last videos, had a great day, nice round trip here on the bike. And from my side, that's it for today. Remember, life is short, make the most of it.